everybody. So it's another video time. I'm thoroughly enjoying doing these course lessons every morning. I find that these thoughts are really allowing my mind to continue to transform and continue to put my focus where it needs to be, which is on my perception of this world. And from this, I am really having the opportunity to trust the Holy Spirit within me and to trust this guidance that's continually given me as I ask of it. So today I wanted to read the course lesson 186. I know to the ego mind that the thoughts and the words and the language and the way in which you go about the course can be very foreign, and it's very easy for the ego mind to put up its defenses and make all its irrational judgments and conclusions based on something that it does not know. So I hope for the purpose of today and the lesson in which we read that we come to it and listen to it with an open mind. That we don't judge what is for our highest good, but in turn let ourselves feel the essence and the energy of the message that is being carried. It's not the words that are being spoken, it's the content. So listen to the content and let your own internal teacher in your own mind show it to you in a way that you understand it. Okay? Don't take my word or my advice on it, but trust your own internal teacher as I have done with mine, and you will gain all the clarity that you need and all the understanding that you need from this soft, quiet voice of reason. So just let yourself be present here and with an open mind, and I'm sure the awareness of it and the remembrance of it will dawn on your mind as it has on mine. I just hear something. Hold on one second. So I'm back. So my papa dude came home. I'm here staying at his place, like I've mentioned, for a little bit. So he came in and we got to communicate and share a little, so it was great. But I figured now, as I made some coffee, cheers to everybody, that I would read this course lesson. Salvation of the world depends on me. Here is the statement that will one day take all arrogance away from every mind. Here is the thought of true humility, which holds no function as your own, but that which has been given you. It offers your acceptance of a part assignment to you, without insisting on another role. It does not judge your proper role. It acknowledges the will of God is done on earth as well as heaven. It unites all wills on earth in heaven's plan to save the world, restoring it to heaven's peace. So we must remember that God's plan is for salvation. God's plan is for peace for everybody. And each and every single one of us are the ones to bring salvation to this world through us, right? God knows us as children of God, and as we claim our part as children of God, we claim our position in God's plan, and therefore we can extend forgiveness and salvation here, as it's one and the same, right? So we are here to restore this earth to heaven's peace, because heaven's peace is eternal, and that is our reality that we share with God and all our brothers and sisters. Jesus started it way back when. We're here to complete it. So let's do this. Let us not fight our function. We did not establish it. It is not our idea. The means are given us by which it will be perfectly accomplished. All that we are asked to do is to accept our part in genuine humility and not deny with self-deceiving arrogance that we are worthy. What is given us to do, we have the strength to do. Our minds are suited perfectly to take the part assigned to us by one who knows us well. So what it's saying is, don't deny your part in God's plan for salvation by thinking that you have another part, right? We don't have another part. We're not here to do things of this world. We're not here to find our place in this world. We're here to remember that we're in the world, but not of the world, and therefore we can bring this power of peace that is not of the world into this world through us by simply accepting our part. But we must accept our part, right? Like, we are worthy of this. We are worthy of being a savior of the world because God defines our worthiness, not us. So the ego mind might tell you and remind you of all the things that you've done wrong and all the reasons why you're unworthy. But that is a lie. That in and of itself is the illusion of this world, right? And these are the exact thoughts that we are to give to the Holy Spirit, so the Holy Spirit can show us the truth instead, right? Today's idea may seem quite sobering until you see its meaning. All it says is that your Father still remembers you and offers you the perfect trust he holds in you who are his son. It does not ask that you be different in any way from what you are. What could humility request but this? And what could arrogance deny but this? Today we will not shrink from our assignment on the specious grounds that modesty is outraged. It is pride that would deny the call of God himself. And I had to go through this phase of pride. I remember when I was first starting my spiritual practice and I was having the thoughts that I'm better than others. I have a special gift beyond others. I'm here to, do something that is different than what others are here to do. Right? It's the arrogance, it's the pride that makes us believe that we know what we are and we know what we are doing without the guidance of God. But in reality, our only function, our only part is to be the Savior of the world, is to be the light of the world, because that is what God created us to be. So we're here not to believe in our folly thoughts of illusion that make us believe that, we have some power that's different than others, that we have some awareness that's different than others, that we have some anything that's different than others. We have all the same awareness. We have all the same truth. We have all the same understanding. But when we're listening to the mind of ego, we've forgotten it. So that's why each and every single one of us need to train our mind to listen to the voice for God only, because then we are in the state of equality. We are in the state of full worthiness, right? We are in that state of peace, and because we've accepted our plan in God, our part in God's plan for salvation. The moment that we realize that we can't do anything on our own. If we think we can do it on our own, that's arrogance, that's pride. We can't do anything on our own without God. All false humility we lay aside today, that we may listen to God's voice reveal to us what he would have us do. We do not doubt our adequacy for the function he will offer us. We will be certain only that he knows our strengths, our wisdom, and our holiness. And if he deems us worthy, so we are. It is but our arrogance that judges otherwise. And this is exactly what I was saying, that if we think that we can do something on our own without our brothers and sisters and have our own spiritual practice and be our own guru and write our own books and do all these things, yes, they can come from guidance. Yes, they can be helpful for the greater good of all. But again, what is my intention with it? Am I doing all these things to seek validation from others? Am I doing all these things so that I can make money? Am I doing all these things so that I can feel that I'm worthy of some kind by doing something in action? Right? We need to question our intention. We need to question our content. Right? And every single thing that is given us to do in regards to this world is for God's plan for salvation. And if it's for any other purpose, if it's for any other reason, then we're arrogant. We're thinking that we can do it on our own, where what we're learning is that we know nothing on our own, right? That we know absolutely nothing on our own, and we need to do nothing without guidance from God first, right? So sometimes we stress ourselves out. We do so many things. We keep ourselves busy. We run from here to there to here to there, here to there, and we think that we're doing so good because we're holding the world on our shoulders. Right? But in reality, what we're learning is to let go and let God and let, the awareness of peace to surround us and to lift us and to carry us and to guide us to do the things that we're supposed to do for the purpose of the greater good of all, instead of having our own individual wants and gains and ideas on it, because no, we're here to remember that we're whole, healed, and perfect already, and that we need not make ourselves into something or anything like that, but to simply claim the truth of what we are as God's kids, right? There is one way, and only one, to be released from the imprisonment your plan to prove the false is true has brought to you. So that's ultimately what it is. When we take on our own character traits, when we take on our own, spiritual ego, when, we take on our own ideas of what we think that we are. It's just our way of trying to discredit the true with the false, right? We're doing it unknowingly. That's why we're forgiven, and, it's just a mere shift in perception that's needed, but it's still awareness that needs to come forward so that we can question ourselves. Where am I? Why am I doing this stuff? Why am I, kind of heading forward? Is it, because I want to increase this little self, that I want to make this little self better? Well, that's not how it works. Either we believe ourselves to be this little self, or we believe ourselves to be the infinite, gigantic self, which is our true self, right? So it's not like we can make our little self into the big self. It's letting go of the little self and accepting the big self. So it's like, where am I? Where is my intention? Where is my focus? Who am I thinking that I am? What am I thinking that I need to do? Do I think that I need to perfect myself? Do I need to make myself better? Do I need to learn some more? Do I need to heal some more? All of this stuff, like, question and remember that the healing and the awareness and the understanding comes from the voice for God here, not in anything that we could do outside of ourselves. So a thing that would be most helpful would be take some quiet time, go into nature, take a bath, sit in silence, put on some meditation music, do whatever you got to do to turn inward and connect, so you may have those experiences of what is true. Accept the plan you did not make instead of your own. Judge not your value to it. If God's voice assures you that salvation needs your part and that the whole depends on you, be sure that it is so. The arrogant must cling to words, afraid to go beyond them to experience which might affront their stance. Yet are the humble free to hear the voice which tells them that they are what they are and what to do? This is almost what I was saying at the beginning of the CD. If we can all just basically leave our judgments behind and just to be open to learn something new, right? Because we are learning, to let go of our own plan and embrace our united plan, so that we're no longer listening to the voice of ego, but we're listening to the voice for God, right? And it is the voice for God which reminds us of our part and what to do and who we are and how to fulfill it here in this world, right? But it is our arrogant mind of ego that clings to words and gets frightened by words and gets distracted by words and will say, oh no, ACIM is trying to get me to be Christian and believe in God and all of this stuff, which, is so not true. It's leading you to the experience of what you really are and what God is. It's not telling you to believe anything. It's telling you to let go of what you think you believe. Let go of what you think that you know, and let the united will come in its place, which is the truth, which is the freedom, which is the peace that we seek. And our part in God's plan is important and integral to the whole. If we don't do our part in God's plan, well, then there's a puzzle piece missing. So that's why I'm here, to remind everyone to do their part in God's plan, because God needs us. This world needs us. Arrogance makes an image of yourself that is not real. It is this image which quails and retreats in terror as the voice for God assumes that you have the strength, the wisdom, and the holiness to go beyond all images. You are not weak, as is the image of yourself. You are not ignorant and helpless. Sin cannot tarnish the truth in you, and misery can come not near the holy home of God. That's what I was saying before, right? Like, we're not this weak self trying to make it better. We're not this ignorant, helpless self that we're trying to, find the answers for. We are completely sinless. We are completely guiltless. We are completely forgiven. And this is an entirely new perception of ourselves that can dawn on our mind the instant that we desire it. All this the voice for God relates to you, as he does. And as he speaks, the image trembles and seeks to attack the threat it does not know, sensing its basis crumble. Let it go. Salvation of the world depends on you and not upon the little pile of dust. What can it tell the Holy Son of God? Why need he be concerned with it at all? right? And this is exactly what's been happening with our team members on the team. When we come around and we see their infinite magnitude and they're still trying to make their weakness and their littleness better, it shatters the weakness. It makes the weakness quiver at its knees because it realizes that it's being exposed. It realizes that this false image of the self that it's been trying to hold on for so long is not real, and it starts to tremble. It starts to shake. And what does it do? It must project an attack on those who are there to bring the truth, because otherwise the mind is going to have to accept the truth. But until it's ready to accept the truth, it's going to defend its own thought system of the false image of the self. This is what happens. And this is why I could never get upset at anybody who's on my team or who is around me and who perceives for a moment to continue to be in darkness and want to be there. You know, I have to let them be there until they're done being there. Right? And so we find our peace. We will accept the function God has given us, for all illusions rest upon the weird belief that we can make another for ourselves. Our self-made roles are shifting, and they seem to change from mourner to ecstatic bliss of loved and loving. We can laugh or weep, and greet the day with welcome or with tears. Our very being seems to change as we experience 1,000 shifts in mood, and our emotions raise us high indeed or dash us to the ground in hopelessness. Is this the Son of God? Could he create such instability and call it Son? He who is changeless shares his attributes with his creation. All the images his Son appears to make have no effect on what he is. They blow across the mind like wind-swept leaves that form a patterning an instant, break apart to group again, and scamper off. Or like mirages seen above a desert, rising from the dust. Right, my beautiful souls? Honestly, this is exactly what the spiritual ego does, okay? What it does is it just says, accept life for what it is. The good days with the bad days, the sad days with the happy days, the angry days with the ecstatic days. Accept all because all is one. No! Oneness is being a child of God, a son of God, created in the image and likeness of God, and that this whole, complete, stable mind is in each and every single one of us, so that we need not experience the bumpy roads of life, but we experience the stability and constancy of peace, with joy and happiness and giving and laughter and kindness and compassion and miracles and everything that's amazing. The Son of God is whole, not split. The Son of God is stable, not rocky. So if we are here justifying that we can experience pain and happiness and sad days and good days and right days and wrong days, we're going along with the ego's idea of what truth is, and we're never going to find happiness there. Ever. Ever. So that's why I'm here to say that salvation of the world depends on us, because we need leave everything that we've believed before, believing that we can experience these up and down days. Leave it and realize that there's a completely other way to be had, a completely other way of living life, a complete other way of me seeing myself and seeing my brothers here and seeing God, and to let that vision be given us. From this gift that's given us, we give it to the world, but we must receive it first. I just spilled coffee on my leg. These unsubstantial images will go, and leave your mind unclouded and serene when you accept the function given you. The images you make give rise to but conflicting goals, impermanent and vague, uncertain and ambiguous. Who could be constant in his efforts or direct his energies in concentrated drive toward goals like these? The functions with which the world esteems are so uncertain that they change 10 times an hour at their most secure. what hope of gain can rest on goals like these? Ask yourself, when you have a goal that you set, when you have something that you want to reach for, does it not come from a moment of insight, that tells you how you can make yourself better in some way, or your living situation better in some way? And is it not true that you've embarked on many of these before, some really, really good ideas, and you get all jazzed up about it, you tell everybody about it, and then you begin it, and then it never follows through, and you never complete it, and then you feel yourself a procrastinator, and you feel yourself not good enough, and why can't I complete anything, and why doesn't anything work, and you start going back down the hellhole. The reason this is so is because these are false goals for the self, for the act of getting. We are here to reverse the law so that it's all from the thought of giving. To know that when we give to others, we will receive, and that we need not focus on the act of getting, because the getting is secondary. The receiving is the effect of the giving, so you don't have to worry about the getting. I hope this is making sense to y'all, right? But we are not here to set our own goals, to set our own way, to make our own plan. We are here to receive the plan that is already in full effect. It's already happening now and in every single moment, and it will for the rest of our lives, but either we see it as such or we choose not to see it as such. That's our choice, right? So either we choose to accept our part in God's plan for salvation, or we choose to have our own part. If we have our own part in our own plan, then we're going to experience the hellishness, the rockiness, the darkness, the craziness of this world. And if we're finally done with everything that causes suffering and pain and anger and resentment and jealousy, once we're done with all of that, is when we can choose the eternal peace, because that is what we are. And from this peace come our part, and everything that we're supposed to do here in this world, we're told. And it's acted upon through guidance, through inspiration, through, ways that are really, really exciting. And it always seems to be something that we can join in and do with others, not just the self, right? Working together. We're brothers and sisters here to co-create together with one another, not alone. In lovely contrast, certain as the sun's return each morning to dispel the night, your truly given function stands out clear and wholly unambiguous. There is no doubt of its validity. It comes from one who knows no error, and his voice is certain of its messages. They will not change nor be conflicted. All of them point to one goal and one you can attain. Your plan may be impossible, but God's can never fail because He is its source. Right? So again, there's this plan within us that will spawn only excitement. There will be no doubt, there will be no fear, there will be no uneasiness, there will be no change, there will be no conflict. It'll be ever expanding, ever growing, ever exciting. And it has to be. God's plan has to work because He is our source. Without Him, we are nothing. So we can try all we want to do all of these things on our own, but it's impossible. It will always fail. Do as His voice directs. And if it asks a thing of you that seems impossible, remember who it is that asks and who would make denial. Then consider this. Which is more likely to be right? The voice that speaks for the Creator of all things, who knows all things exactly as they are, or a distorted image of yourself, confused, bewildered, inconsistent, and unsure of everything? Let not its voice direct you. Hear instead a certain voice which tells you of a function given you by your Creator, who remembers you and urges you that you now remember Him. Right? There's always two voices to listen to, everybody. So we get to choose if we want to listen to the one that speaks on behalf of our Creator, or speak to the one that keeps us in solitude, in the small confines of a box that we've created for ourselves. His gentle voice is calling from the known to the unknowing. He would comfort you, although he knows no sorrow. He would make a restitution, though he is complete, a gift to you, although he knows that you have everything already. He has thoughts which answer every need his Son perceives, although he sees them not. For love must give, and what is given in his name takes on the form most useful in the world of form. This is why we've been given the task of Center for the One, right? Because it's a form that's useful in this world of form, but it is not of this world, the intention and the content of this center, right? So, I could have easily been like, no, I can't do this. This isn't going to work. Oh, it takes so much. How can I do this? And get all frightened. But when the inspiration came for the Center for the One with the group of 4 other individuals who were there with me that evening, when we received this miracle together, it was unequivocally my part in God's plan. It was unequivocally a gift given us from the voice for God that I could not deny, I could not put down, I could not say no to, and ever since it's taken care of itself. I've merely been the vessel for it, right? And now we're here giving it to the world. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful! Thank you, God. These are the forms which never can deceive, although they come from formlessness itself. Forgiveness is an earthly form of love, which as it is in heaven has no form. Yet what is needed here is given here as it is needed. In this form you can fulfill your function even here. Although what love will mean to you when formlessness has been restored to you is greater still. Salvation of the world depends on you who forgive. Such is your function here. Right? And I say that many times over and over and over and over and over again. Our only function is to forgive. And as we forgive, we move from the wrong-minded perspective to the right-minded perspective. We move from the ego to God. Right? And this is our only function here. So everything that comes into our life is a lesson for us to choose to see differently. Everything that comes into our life is an opportunity for us to call out for a miracle, to call out for this shift in perception and receive it within ourselves. And the moment we receive this forgiven perception within our own minds, we are free of the past. We are free of what we thought before. And therefore, in place of what was this constant talking and chitter-chatter and loudness of mind, is the calmness and openness of peace. And from this calmness of openness, we are a vessel of communication for the voice for God to speak to us and through us and give us the means of how it is that we can carry about God's plan in this world through us. We are told all we need to know. We are given all we need to know. Everything is taken care of. Everything's already happened. We're just here reliving it by asking for guidance and inspiration from the voice who knows. Okay? And we must remember that I did not grow up religious. I did not grow up believing in God. But because I dove into the center of my own mind, I found God there. God is my Father. He is the essence of that which created me, and He created me perfect. I need not fix anything. I need not heal anything. All I need to see is that I have been misperceiving things of this world when I think that I need to be healed or fixed. But there's an internal teacher that can show me my perfection and remind me of my perfection so that I can finally embrace my part in God's plan. Salvation of the world depends on us, people, and that means you too, okay? We're here to accept it, we're here to embody it, and we're here to give it away. Give it away, 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 give it away. And then we receive so much more. So thank you all of you for being present with me again. Thank you for going through this course lesson with me. I feel so filled with joy to know that this is exactly what I'm experiencing in my life, and we all can experience this together. We are meant to be stable, whole, peaceful, joyful individuals that can shine our light throughout the world in waves of joy and peace. I love you all. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.